a chance for Gawn. Plenty of noise. And he gets one for the knees. Fritsch. He can finish it now. From Coldstream to the G.
Hello everyone and welcome to Inside Melbourne. We're here thanks to Zurich for another week of footy chat here at the D's, of course, with our podcast. And we've got our wonderful co-host with us again, Max Gawn. Welcome, Maxie.
Another week. Clint could be coming back, though, due to the Socceroos' disappointing 2-0 loss to Peru.
Yes.
I've been following Clint's social media activity.
There's been a lot of it.
It's actually looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The Aussies aren't really good as chanting as other nations. Some of the Pommy stuff I've been watching is crazy, but no, it could be the last week. Sorry to get sidetracked. So I thought we'd finish it off with a bang.
There's going to be a lot of outrage on social media. I can tell you that if we bring Clint back and you're out.
Yeah. I mean, it's a dangerous thing for the club to do to put me in instead of Clint because it's going to be very hard to get Clint back now. Obviously, he's not the most popular podcaster host going around. So, no, look, I'll keep listening to Clint. Yeah, but we're going out with a bang.
Yeah, we certainly are. And you are now a pro podcaster.
Yeah.
So I think you can do the intros
Well,
today.
we have super coach extraordinaire. Got him for around 100,000. He's got his way up to north of 400, I think. He's a star forward turned wingman gone back forward. I'm talking about Bayley Fritsch. Bales, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Look how excited he is. he's heard about this podcast and he actually come to me during the week and said, I want on the podcast.
Well, everyone does, don't they?
Don't know about that.
Bayley, obviously you must be pretty wrapped with the footy that you're playing and to be able to play 12 games this season, to be playing senior footy in your first year, you must be pinching yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Coming to the club, I didn't really have too much limits on what I could do. So I thought just come into the club and do as much as I could. And it sort of panned out that I played early, but yeah, just taking every week as it comes sort of thing.
And did it help come into a club that you were affiliated with? Obviously, dominating Caty last season, played with a lot of the guys down there. That obviously helps coming into a new club.
Yeah, well, last year we were sort of implementing the same game plan as you guys were at Melbourne. So with a couple of little tinkers this year in the game plan, I sort of knew what I was doing. So that definitely helped. And yeah.
For those, obviously, that haven't followed your journey, it seems almost like you've stormed onto the scene, but you've come down an alternative path than many recruits to footy and obviously came in as a mature age recruit. Can you tell us a bit about your story?
Yeah, so I first got to Caty. I was playing local footy at Coldstream in the Eastern Footy League. And then, I got a call to go down to Caty at the end of 2014. And then I did a little bit of training at the end of the season, then come back, did a full pre-season and then injured myself early on in that year and got stress fractures in my back. And then I didn't come back till 2016. Probably around 2016, I think it was. Played the rest of the year in the development league and then come back in 2017 just to try and get a full run at it. And then, was lucky enough to play most of the year in the VFL last year. And then, here I am today.
You had some heartbreak at the end of the VFL season. Obviously, a finals campaign that went wrong. I don't know how I'm trying to word this question, but did that make you, similar to how we went out in round 23, did that make you come with a much more resurgent self? Like, did you want to train hard in the pre-season and have a much better season this year from a team-wise? Yeah,
I guess it was sort of good that we come off a couple of bad finals losses and obviously the D's, losing that round 23. So I was probably in the same mindset as probably most of the other boys when I first got to the club. So, yeah, definitely.
And obviously going through that, but then also, as you mentioned, some of the difficulties with injury and having to fight your way to get to an AFL senior list, to develop that resilience, that must come in enormously handy in the AFL standard.
Yeah, definitely. Justin Platt was huge in that. In his time in the AFL, he had a lot of injuries as well. And, he was always by my side, just telling me to be as professional as I can with all my rehab. And, there was light at the end of the tunnel and,
Are you too old for a NAB Rising Star nomination?
I think about 20 20-odd days.
Jeez, that's disappointing, isn't it?
Oh.
You'd be a short price favourite, surely.
Tell us what it's been like. I mean, talk us through your first game of footy and then probably the first win as well up in Brizzy.
Yeah, first game was pretty unbelievable, to be honest. Round 1 against Geelong with a big crowd, really loud. Really everything I expected, to be honest.
Let's go past that game quickly.
Yeah, and then we were up in Brisbane at the Gabba.
Yep.
And yeah, to get the first win with the Gatorade shower, up and go shower as well. Yeah,
That's
no,
rough.
it was really good.
That's a Clayton Jaden Hunt. That's a Jaden Hunt. He started the up and go shower. I'm not a fan of the shower at all.
Okay.
Not actual shower. I do shower after the game, but the Gatorade shower, I actually don't touch a Gatorade at all. I let the guys just get in the middle. I don't want to saturate them. It's a lot of work for the property stewards post to be able to clean the room. So I'm not a big fan of the Gatorade shower, especially not the up and go shower, and it stings your eyes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You actually can't see anyone else in the circle when you're just sitting there trying to sing. You probably didn't even know the words to the song. So, although Casey do sing the same song, don't they?
Yep.
So you'd hope so, yes.
But they did have a couple of wins last year, Casey. So,
And Bales, what was it like coming into the club? I mean, with Maxie here, what was he like? Did he take you under his wing?
Yeah, it was
Good
pretty...
bloke, bad bloke? Give us the inside goss.
Yeah, didn't really know what to expect coming in, but to be honest, I actually played a couple of games with Max in 2015, when I was the 23rd man early on. We played a couple of games together, but yeah, everyone's been really welcoming, and yeah, I was probably a little bit unexpected as to what it was, but yeah, it's been good.
the 7 VFL games that I played in 2015, round 1 to 7, were the 7 worst VFL games I've ever played in my life. So he saw a poor Max. There was one game against Footscray. I think I had 3 or 4 disposals for the game. Was miserable,
ouch.
was moody. The coaches were spraying me. So he saw an interest in Max. I probably wouldn't have talked to you, to be honest, because I was in the worst mood ever. But I got over that hurdle, which is lucky. Not about me. We're talking about Bayley. But I just thought I'd add that in. Pricey.
Well, very good.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, we've got to chat about the last couple of weeks and to look back on Port. Pretty tight loss in the end, 10 points. What was it like out of there, and what's been the feedback from that game?
Yeah, obviously it was disappointing to get the loss, but I think it's been well documented that we sort of played the way we wanted to, took a lot out of it, a lot of positives out of it, and tinkered with a few technical things, and yeah, hopefully come out this week and put that into action.
Yeah, it's an interesting game. I've never enjoyed a game more playing in it. Obviously, until the last 3 or 4 minutes that we couldn't get over the line, but the brand of football that was being played on the big stage with that crowd was very exciting to be a part of, and Port played the exact way we wanted them to as well. Their contested footy was super. Their contested marking was probably the bit that got them over the line compared to us, which is a strength of ours with Tommy and Hogues and Oscar McDonald down back. We just weren't able to meet them in the air, and that's probably the one key stat they beat us on. And it actually won them the game. Westhoff took a couple late, and then there's obviously that play in the last minute where they iced the game with a couple of big marks as well. So that's something we'll work on. But in terms of our game style and how the boys are feeling, they're pretty pumped for this week. They're pretty happy that their game's in relatively good state, and bring on Saints.
So the criticism from outside, rightly or wrongly, is that Melbourne have been flat-track bullies, can't beat a genuine contender. It sounds like, though, you don't think that's that far off.
Well, depends who you call a genuine contender. Yes, we've struggled against Richmond, Collingwood, Hawthorn and Port. Are they all genuine contenders? Are some of them potentially around the mark of us? We beat North Melbourne there in the finals. So there's disappointing that on the big stage we haven't performed, but we may have failed on the big stage against someone who wasn't a genuine contender. So there's all different ways you can look at it, but we're pretty excited to play every week, pretty excited to play whatever team we're playing, and St Kilda may not be a big contender this year, but they're definitely a team that have beaten us 15 out of the last 17 or 18 games. There's a hoodoo there for a while, and we're not going to just take it lightly on Saints because they're not a contender, and then when we do get someone that's potentially in the top 4, we're not going to play that any differently either.
Having said that, you've won your last 3 against the Saints and most recently round 7. Bayley, you would have played in that game. It is a real opportunity this week, isn't it, to get back on the winners list and set up the back half of the season?
Yeah, definitely. We've had a lot of learnings the last couple of weeks, and great opportunity to go out on Sunday at the G and for the welcome game and get another win on the board.
Talk us through the welcome game.
Come on. We got to talk about what just happened then. That was impressive. We didn't, for those at home, we didn't even word him up about the welcome game, and he's come in and dropped that. That's unbelievable.
True pro already, first year.
What was your question again?
Well, tell us about the welcome game and what's behind it. It's pretty special for the club.
He's shaking his head, so I think I'll run with this one. But it is pretty special. We did it last year. Obviously, welcoming any sort of nationality, gender, sexuality, disability. I'm looking at my producer just for one more because I thought there was 5, but I run with the 4. So it's a relatively exciting game for us. From my family personally, I've got all Kiwis in my family, and I've got actually some guys coming over to watch the game. They generally have no idea about the game, and I've seen a couple of photos of my whole family bunched around a computer watching it at the wee hours at night. So it's.
Have they learnt though?
No, they still yell out try when I score a goal. So they'll try and get that done, and they're waiting for me to do the haka before the game. But I don't think I'll be doing that anytime soon.
Maybe it's a goal celebration.
Nah, look, the fact that I don't have any Maori blood in me, and 2, I'm born in Australia, makes me think that I'm not eligible to be able to do the haka, but I do know most of it, so maybe on a special occasion I might bring it out.
Oh,
but to play in a game like this is super. So I know there's 20,000 tickets out there that are going to different schools around different communities to get different people to come to the game and grow the game and come to watch the Demons in Melbourne. I'm sure that's what you want to do when you come to the footy. You want to go to the team that started footy in the place that started footy in the state that started footy.
Absolutely. And as a little resident South African, I reckon it's a great concept and an absolutely brilliant thing to get behind. Bayley, obviously, maybe no Maori blood or New Zealand blood from Coldstream. Tell us about back home and what life was like there.
Yeah, it's a bit of a country feel on the edge of the Yarra Valley where probably a lot of people have been to all the wineries out that way. I live just in a little estate. Houses all the way around the footy oval that I grew up playing junior footy at, junior cricket at. And, I love it out there. Going back, get back there as when I can.
I think I may have had a couple of Pinots out in that
Just
in that
a
area.
couple?
Yeah, just a couple.
Yeah. Just a couple sneaky ones.
Is that a big drive to go to Caty? Is that about a half an hour, 45-minute drive?
Oh, about 50 minutes. 50
minutes. So that was obviously with juggling with work as well. Not as bad as some people at Caty. I know there's obviously some people far out in Gippsland that make their way to Caty, but it's still a genuine effort. An hour to get to training, probably worse in peak hour. And
I was working an hour in the opposite direction. And
it was hard when you first got drafted to D's as well. You were doing that?
Yeah. Yeah, so till about Christmas, but now I've moved closer.
Whereabouts?
Inkerman Street.
Oh, nice little spot, St Kilda.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You venture out Friday, Saturday sort of nights after games?
Nah, pretty low key.
Pretty low key. That's a good little spot, St Kilda.
Good answer, Bayley. Tell us, you mentioned the working because you were an electrician?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did that all come about, and what was that like trying to juggle your footy and being a sparky?
Yeah, I love being a sparky. Oh, I'd much rather be a footy player, but I didn't mind being a sparky. But so it was pretty full on, waking up early in the morning, heading out to a job most of the time somewhere near the city in Reservoir for the last 2 years that I was working. And then, getting back home, getting my footy gear and then taking the trek out to Caty. And then, training out there and doing my weights after training and then heading back home, not getting home till about 10:30 and then doing it all again the next day. So it was pretty tough at times, but it's all worth it now.
Maxie, worked that hard in your life?
I worked at Domino's for 4 years, which is an incredibly, I know electrician, you're out on your feet, or you're actually in bloody attics and underneath houses and whatnot. But Domino's was pretty hard work. At one stage, I'm going to put this in there for the podcasters. I come second in Victoria out of all Domino's, Pizza Huts and Pizza Havens for the best pizza maker.
Really?
So there was a contest. Everyone added their one or two people from each store, and you had to make 5 pizzas as quickly as you could with the right sort of measurements on each pizza. Had to look good. And I come second. The reason why I lost is I missed a bit of pepperoni on one slice of the pizza.
My grandparents owned a pizza shop for 20 years. They retired about 5-6 years ago. I reckon my grandpa would give you a run for his money.
Well, in fairness, Domino's probably isn't a pizza shop. It's more fast food. So you're probably your grandparents are probably owning some really nice.
Montrose.
Yes. See, that's pizza.
Still fast food.
It's still fast food, but like. Yeah, I don't want to pot Domino's because, I mean...
Bayley, did you pick up the pizza making skills?
Yeah, I worked there from about 12 till 15. Just doing a little bit of work experience here and there, but yeah, it was good getting all those free pizzas back when I was young.
Surely there's a pizza making competition in the making, yeah.
I've just quickly, I've got some Renos at my house. Do you do cashies?
I haven't done too many yet. I've been asked by a few of the boys, but I've sort of palm them off to other workmates.
Beautiful. I don't think the taxation department listens to this, do they? That's my gut feel.
No chance.
No. So, yeah. For those that don't know, I'm winking at him, and we'll get the job done soon.
Okay. All right, guys. Great chat so far. We're going to take a very short break. We are here thanks to Zurich, and we're going to come back with some questions from the outer.
Thanks to our co-major partner and podcast sponsor, Zurich. For over 100 years, they've been ensuring the people and things you truly love. And just like you, they truly love footy and truly love Melbourne.
Welcome back to the Inside Melbourne podcast. I mean, brought to you especially by yours truly, Max Gawn and Pricey. Thanks to Zurich. We got to thank Zurich. They're a super sponsor of the show, and they're the reason why we are able to do this podcast, Pricey. So over to you for the first question. We're about to get into From the Outer.
Yeah, we certainly are. But the first question comes from Zurich, and it's one we ask each and every week to our guests. Pals, what do you truly love?
I truly love getting up to Bonnie Doon, getting out on the boat in the water and doing a bit of wakeboarding around Christmas in the sun.
So just head up there. Have you got a house there?
Yeah, my girlfriend's dad has a caravan up there at Pepin Point, and we're sort of normally there from just before Christmas till after New Year's. So yeah, good fun.
I've never seen someone answer a question so quickly. He
was ready
knows
to go
what he
with
loves,
an
doesn't
answer.
he? He knows what he loves, and it's getting to Bonnie Doon. He's certain about it.
It's good.
All right, we'll go from the outer. Obviously, we get a lot of people tweet or Instagram us with some questions, and the first one is from Dan. Not going to have a go at his last name, but it starts with K. Who did you support growing up?
I was a Collingwood supporter growing up.
Okay, so hence why we didn't beat Collingwood. You were playing for them, were you? You were helping them out.
No.
Get out. No.
He had another one too. Has Goody suppressed going for big hangers? You love a big hanger?
Yeah, they always encourage me to fly for my marks if I'm in the right spot. So, yeah, I think he likes it.
This one's from at Hong Kong Footy. Yeah, Footy for PH. Cool name. One of his kids calls you the Fritsch magnet because you're a ball magnet, and the other one calls you the Refrigerator because she reckons you're cool under pressure. Not bad. Which one out of the two do you reckon the family should run with?
I don't mind the Refrigerator.
Yeah. And do you think you're cool under pressure? Is that why?
I like to feel like I'm a little bit composed under pressure, yeah.
But you're obviously a ball
cool?
magnet as well, aren't you?
What was that?
You're a ball magnet as well. So, I mean, that's a tough
Don't know
decision.
about that.
Yeah.
You've gone with Fritter.
Yeah, so we've got a nickname for him. His nickname's Fritter, which is short for Fritsch, obviously. And then that's gone to Frittata, and then that's gone to Tata. So we call him Tata, which is named, I mean, it's great getting named off greats from the club. Unfortunately, Bailey's been named after someone who probably wasn't a great of the club, Caty. And I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but Jack Fitzpatrick was the Frittata. and now Bailey's the frittata. So
one of the all-time names.
you've got to kick 50-metre check sides because that's all we did for this club. But no, actually, that's harsh. He does do a rival podcast, so I'm trying to pot him, Katie.
I like this one. Daniel Adams, Beanmaster Funk, he says, how does your grandma get such amazing flavours in her chutney? She gets a perfect balance of sweetness with a tangy edge. What is this all about?
Yeah, so my grandma back in Coldstream, she whips up and I'm not a fan of the chutney, but everyone seems to like it.
I hope she doesn't listen to the podcast.
Yeah, so she gets up in the garage and does a huge batch for anyone at the footy or cricket club or anyone in Coldstream. She probably does a little bit of a mail round, to be honest. Everyone's got it. And, yeah, Daniel's one of the ones that likes to get his hands on it.
My mum does a good chutney. She's a keen podcaster listener, so I thought I'd chuck it in there. Mum.
Me and you can have a pizza off and my grandma and your mum can have a chutney off.
They love that. My mum would love that. In Coldstream?
Yeah, why not?
We'll bring him into Amy Park. We'll do it here.
Sounds good.
Just quickly with the pizza off.
Yes.
Did you work there?
Yeah,
For how long?
about 2 years.
Okay, so I've got 2 years experience on that. All right, so that should be easy.
Good, cleared that up.
This one for Taylor Power. Has it always been your goal to play for Melbourne? Seeing as though you're a Collingwood supporter, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that Melbourne may not have been a goal, but once you were a Casey, potentially.
Yeah, once I was Casey, definitely. Obviously, like running with the same game plan as we said earlier. Yeah, it's made it an easier transition than probably going to a different club. So yeah, definitely.
What about as a kid? Was AFL always on the agenda?
Yeah, I always wanted to play AFL, but just anyone that gave me an opportunity. I mean, if I was drafted to Collingwood as a kid, then I would have wanted to get drafted to Collingwood as a kid. But yeah, I'm happy with Melbourne.
You're a handy cricketer, aren't you?
Not too bad. I played till about under 16s, and then yeah, sort of just went with footy after that.
We in the change rooms we have a little bit of a cricket game going, and Bailey probably has bowled the most overs, I'd say. So he's easily the most keen. He puts in, for lack of a better word, pies sometimes of his balls, but, and he's a handy batsman. But I could see a little bit of a cricket maybe potential, but obviously footy.
Well, Sammy Weeds has jumped on the Inside Melbourne hashtag and said, who's the most difficult bowler to face in locker room cricket?
I think he's just wanting to get his name out there because he throws down some thunderbolts.
Is he right?
Hitting 140 clicks, I think, about a 10-metre pitch.
Yeah, so we use I'm not sure how much you're into your backyard cricket, pricey, but we use a taped ball. So we tape half the side so it swings in. And Sammy Weeds bowls off a long run and bowls genuine 130, 135 clicks on a 10-metre pitch.
Right, okay.
So it's unfair. Like, come in, you have you bat for 1-2 balls and then you're out because he's got you out. But so he's obviously wanted to get himself pumped up and he did well. We've talked about him for 10 minutes, which is good. I mean, another one that's probably asked, wanting to get pumped up here. And it's good that he's riding on the podcast.
No, he certainly is that.
Yeah, right after being
Loves
on.
his social
when did we
media
have him
too.
on? We have him on last week. Yeah, he's
said
saying
something about himself being a good-looking rooster, I
That's
think,
right.
during the week.
That's right, he's saying.
On Twitter.
James _Harms4. I'm presuming that's the Harmsy that plays at the football club. We're not sure. Who's your best friend at the club?
I like everyone. I don't get along pretty well with Harmsy, so I'll give him a bit of a shout out there. But yeah, all the first year boys, because we spend a fair bit of time together doing the first year's program run by the AFL. But yeah, Mitch Hannon. I like everyone.
All the first year boys? Because I said the same thing in my first year. I'd be like, I've spent time with the first year boys. There's no way Jordan Gisberts and Jack Fitzpatrick were in my top 4 friends. There's no way. Skulls? Nah. I just said it. I just said it to be nice. Come on. Surely there's one above the pack in that first year's group.
I'll spend a bit of time outside of here with Charlie Spargo. So
There we go.
yeah.
On you, Charles.
What about this one from the Bayley Fritsch fan page, if you don't mind? Why are you so good? Is the first one. I think it's a fair question. And the second one is, why haven't you hit up the Bayley Fritsch fan page?
It's because he's running it. That's
I don't know. They haven't really sent me much info. I don't know what they want.
Shout out to the good folks at the Bayley Fritsch fan page.
Yeah, I'll give them a shout out. Well done, boys. I don't even know who it is, but
boys?
Girls.
Boy or girl, yeah.
I reckon it's girls. I reckon
I
you're
think
a
so too.
good-looking kid.
Yeah. What was the other question?
Why are you so good?
Oh,
You're regretting asking what was the second question.
I am, yeah.
I'm interested in this one because this one goes on with the why you're so good. Do you believe in kicking with your right foot? Obviously, fans may not have seen it yet. By the sounds of things, this is from Weasel_99.
Yeah, I do believe in kicking my right foot, but I don't think I've kicked on my right foot yet since I've
No, I don't.
been
I don't think you have. I've even done a little left foot one.
Yeah.
So I'm one up on you on the oppo kick.
Yeah, I might have to get one out next game.
Well, it's obviously they're noticing and they've put you in part of the Jack Viney right foot is for balance club, which is a bit harsh because Vines does kick on his right, but Weasel99 just wanted to let you know you got another foot on your body.
This one's from Len Lambrellis, a bit more serious one, but is going from playing at VFL level to AFL what you expected, and what's been the easiest part and what's been the most challenging?
Probably the easiest part is probably the game plan, which I've talked about, because obviously coming from Caty and knowing a fair bit about what to expect with positioning and whatnot. But the hardest part, probably just the day-to-day grind in the pre-season. Took a little bit to get used to, training a little bit sore, knowing how much recovery I had to do, but I feel like I've got on top of that now, and yeah.
How do you find Goody as a coach?
Yeah, really good, really open, easy to talk to, and yeah, if you need feedback, just go and see him.
Luke Boyle Photography. I can't believe I missed this. I've been looking to try and find the best ones, and this one probably is the best, Bales. Where did you get the saying "you beauty" from?
I don't know. After the Foundation Heroes, we're walking down the stairs, and I think there was a sign on the as we were going down the stairs, and it said 2-for-1 cocktails. And I was walking down the stairs with a few boys, and James Harms was actually behind me, and I go, 2-for-1 cocktails, you're beauty. And ever since then, he just loved it, and I reckon we would have said it 1,000 times in the last 2 weeks.
It's one of the better things you can hear say is when you just say "you beauty" with his accent and the way he says it.
Yeah, you've got to say with that.
Yeah, just we chuck it in by the end of the podcast because now it's forced, and we'll try and see if we can get a "you beauty."
What about this one from Dom Green? How extensive is your gym program?
Gym program's pretty full on. As first years, we try and get as much load in as possible. So I'm guessing he's saying it because I'm pretty skinny, but yeah, I'm doing a fair chunk of weights, and hopefully it'll pay off in the coming years.
Yeah, it might come. I was relatively skinny for a couple of years, so
and now?
Still relatively skinny. I got fat last year. That's why I lost all my weight. But the guys, you can see some great improvement, especially with the first and second year guys. Harry Petty's putting on some size. The 2 young rucks that have been in the program for a while are starting to put on some size. So big ups to Jimmy McGeoch and his group down there in the gym. They're going well. Is this my turn? Is that how it goes? For those that can't see, which is everyone because it's a podcast, Pricey was giving me those eyes, saying you've got to run.
Gordy, not those eyes.
Liam Short 99. Do you know Liam? No. Who was your favourite legend in footy history? I'm guessing it's a pie.
So growing up, I loved Scott Pendlebury.
Pendles.
So yeah, it was a little bit different. I followed him around for a little bit when we played Collingwood. It was a bit surreal, but yeah.
I've actually, I was the fines master for a little bit there. We talked about that in the Melksham episode. I did a little bit of work on Bayley, getting ready for my first fines, but then I retired, so it never came out. Going through his Facebook, he was a passionate pie.
Oh.
Like he was putting up photos left, right and centre, commentating on games on Facebook.
Commentating?
Yeah, during the second quarter, like a little Facebook post saying, "Come on, pies, we can do this," with a little love heart. He was a genuine fan.
As soon as I found out about the fines, I put my Facebook on private, so I don't reckon he'd be able to find that material anymore.
You're not friends with Maxie.
Melky doesn't do that much digging anymore. He disappoints me, to be honest.
So have you bumped into Pendles in the car park? Obviously, the club's pretty close together.
Nah, I haven't actually. Nah, just out in the G a couple of weeks ago is the only time. So
I was expecting like a Nathan Buckley or a Scotty Cummins or one of those great Collingwood players.
Pendlebury not a great.
Yeah, I was waiting for someone to shut me down on Cummins being a great. No, like one of the Pendles is modern day. I was expecting, but then I realised
he's a bit younger than us.
Yeah, well, I'm only 27. That's 6 years. What's that? That's a little bit. It's 6 years.
Yeah,
I don't know why I said what's that.
Both of you well covered.
That equals. We won't get into it, Jodie. I mean, I'm happy to if you want to make a segment about your age, but I'll leave it alone.
No, Pals, it must be just amazing to have that. The first year players, so many of you being able to really perform and contribute on the big stage, and the club is in a really good position, isn't it, with the youth and the experience? Yeah,
definitely. We've got a good bunch of older heads, and then like the middle-aged guys like Maxie, and then all the younger boys as well. It's a real bubbly place to be around, and love coming into work every day. There
is a problem with middle age. So with our club, obviously, we've turned over our list a lot in the last couple of years, and all that, majority of those people are my friends because the middle-aged guys have been turned over and gone. So if you look at the way the list is set up now, there's a core group of 30-year-olds, and there's a group of 23 and under, and I'm around that mark where there's not many of us. So I'm forced to be friends with Tom McDonald, which is hard. But then I'm in between two groups, so I try and stay hip for the young guys, and I try and be able to talk wine and coffee with the older guys. So sometimes it can be quite a difficult spot, and I end up going home by myself, crying myself to sleep.
Bals, can you be in the cool kids club if you use words like hip?
Don't know.
Well, yeah. I think hip's the best way to describe your modern era, isn't it? Mm-hmm. No? I'm hip. I can hang out with the hip kids.
No. You mentioned Tommy. How is Tommy?
Look, I'd try and keep an arm's length from Tommy
as much
during
as
the week.
Fair enough.
So I talk to him game day. That's the only day we have to talk. No, actually, Ruby Sweeney, which is Tom McDonald's girlfriend, she didn't know why I mentioned her last name, but anyway, she came up to me during the week and said, I think everyone thinks you hate Tom because I do pot him a lot in the media because he's an easy get. He's it's Tom, but he's actually, we went to the States together over the break and had a good time together. He's actually a good kid. I say he's a kid because he's a year younger than me, and that's a good power move. But Tom's going well. I think his sternum's still a little bit sore, but he trained today and hopefully we'll play Sunday. But there's still a bit to go under the bridge.
Yeah, it was a pretty bruising battle, wasn't it? All round.
It was. Like I said, how fun it was to play in. You'd probably say the same thing. There's those...
Fun because you didn't get banged up?
Oh, I got banged up. I had to replace my jumper halfway through the first quarter. There was a nice little scuffle on the far wing. I know what you were thinking. I wish I saw that vision with you with the jumper off.
Happy to get it off.
Yeah.
But, I must say, Maxie does have the tracky top today with the zip undone, nothing underneath.
Just hanging out.
Yeah.
Well, no one else had noticed in that room, so you were the only one that noticed that the zip was down. So just the scuffles that were, it was a congested game, and there was, with all that talk about the congestion, it was 70-60 the final score, but I'm sure a lot of people would have loved watching it just because of the potential spitfires, almost a halftime melee that never happened, which was weird. 9 times out of 10, when that talk is going on at halftime and those teams are so close together, there's a melee. But there wasn't one on the weekend. It was bizarre.
Why was that?
It's like everyone was thinking about their pockets for once. I don't know. I was ready to go. Rockcliffe was definitely ready to go, but everyone else just sort of walked away. It was quite bizarre.
Fair enough. Well, let's put the Port game well behind us because we've got St Kilda this week, of course, on Sunday. It is the welcome game. That wraps up another edition of Inside Melbourne. Bals, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Good fun.
On your tata.
Yo beauty.
There it is. I was waiting for it. Thank you, Maxie.
Thanks, Pricey. If I'm back, I'll be back, but I think Clint's going to be back.
Well, the farewell tour has been absolutely brilliant. Great to have you on board. Of course, thanks to Zurich on Inside Melbourne.